I'm really intrigued by this role for you, Ryan. Were you always intended to star in it? You're also an EP on it.
You know what? Yes. Uh, I didn't intend to star on it, but it was one of those roles that I couldn't resist. So for me, I felt like, man, if I could dig in to a role that keeps the audience guessing and also makes the audience root for something they know they shouldn't be rooting for. I was like, I'm in, I'm signing up.
It is based on a true story. How much did you really play into the true tale of it, and how much is sort of fictionalized?
Well, that's a good question. I didn't end up researching the story that much because, dramatically speaking, I wanted to be able to depart as much as possible and not be held to, the handcuffs of the original story.
Mhm.
So that's why when it's based on true events, that they give us the leeway to go, okay, what's the best story to tell for our audience?
Mhm.
And knowing that a lot of these events actually happened, but it's always he said, she said. So how it happened is really for us to decipher of what was not known, what was talked about in the room, and how the things came together and how they unfolded afterwards.
You have some wonderful co-stars in here. How hands-on were you when it came to casting?
You know what? I let our team at Lifetime do all of that, and Chris Wade and Jesse Prupas, and Robin Hayes, our director, was incredible, and they just couldn't wait for me to meet Mackenzie Caldwell because they were like, "We just really found a gem here," and I was like, "Okay, I don't know her work. I always have." I think everybody goes back to their comfort zone of people they've worked with and they know can do the job, but it's very exciting to not only find that actor that surprises everybody, but to be that actor that surprises everybody. And there's a lot of trust, in a film like this. There's a lot of trust in our director and our team. And I'm glad that Mackenzie was able to put that trust in all of us. And I think it paid off.
I mean, there's some steamy scenes, Ryan, to one. And you
Well, it
guys,
is Lifetime for women,
it's
right?
true.
And listen, Lifetime for women, if men are smart, they should be watching Lifetime for women because then they have plenty to talk about with the women.
Well, this is a
What I
message
used to
to all
do,
the men
I,
watching this.
listen, I 100% used to watch soap operas so that I'd go to school. I'd be like, can you believe what John Black did? The audacity of it. And they're like, you know what, John, you're up on that story? I'm like, who isn't? And
And
then
they'd be like,
all of a sudden, the trust is built. It's kind of like, listen, it's kind of how Aaron had to build trust with Hannah. You got to look for those things to go, hey, where can we connect? What can we connect about?
I was gonna ask. I mean, this guy is master manipulator. Was that a difficult aspect for you to sort of flush out, for you to take part in, or is it all part of the training you've had, as far as being a dramatic actor?
The soap opera training. Um, I don't, you know what? I would never view him as a manipulator. I would view him as being disciplined in his beliefs. And when when you're that, when you give yourself over so much to a belief system and to a religion, you tend to believe that God is working directly with you, through you, and putting things in your path for
Okay.
you. So I looked at it as a complete character study of somebody who has given himself over to this religion and this belief system in a way of thinking that Hannah was put there for him and for his future and his family's future in the best way that in the best circumstances that could be with the wife's condition.
Sarah being ill, yeah,
Yeah. See how I water her down still like, with her
with her condition.
condition.
Yes,
She'll be fine. She's gonna be fine.
she'll walk it. She'll walk. She'll
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 shake
look
it
up.
off.
You have some cute little kids in this one as well. Talk about working with them.
No, they're amazing, and it's I think it's always fun. I have two boys that are older now, 15 and 17, believe it or not. And you know, to get to work with kids on set that, by the way, are pros. You know, it's you're not making it onto a set like this unless number one, you're still a kid and you're still like having fun and your parents are, you know, engaged in success, you know, engaged in your success and engaged in you being a kid still and still being around an environment that allows you to go and do your education, go and play with other kids, go and, you know, and we all would just be entertained by the kids and the conversations we'd have.
There's so many intense moments to this film, edge of your seat moments as well. Was there one moment where it challenged you the most, or maybe one you're the most proud of how it came out?
You know, it's a good question. Thank you. I would say there were moments that caught me off guard emotionally, that I wasn't planning to have tears in certain scenes. I wasn't planning to um, do anything other than commit to the role. And um, that's the best, that's the best experience you can have as an actor when you're just caught listening to somebody and what comes out is a natural reaction. And so there was a few of those moments that I was like, "Oh wow, what just happened? Was that good? Does that work?" You know, because as an executive producer, I want to make sure that I didn't go overboard in something or didn't hold back too much emotion. And our director's the one to make sure that the whole band is flowing together and in sync. And she's the only one that really knows as we're shooting. So after certain scenes, when I was like, oh man, that got a little carried away emotionally. Is that okay? And she'll be like, no, I want you to go further.
Wow.
Oh, really? You're just like, okay, I guess we're going further then. And then you have to take a moment and go away and then come back and then go into it. And sometimes you end up scaring yourself, you know, of of what can come out of you.
I was going to ask how you shook off a long day of being this intense. So I wouldn't call him, Svengali or, but maybe he is in a way, like he's this, you said not master manipulator. So like
Well,
he's,
I think that when somebody's so righteous in their beliefs, I don't feel like they're trying to manipulate. I feel like they really see the world in this way. And um, so it's intense to live like that. I would never want, like, I see a lot of humor in myself and my kids, when I'm in the middle of yelling at them, they'll start laughing at me sometimes. And it makes me more mad. Then I end up laughing with them.
or
And I'm like, they know, because they know I'm not gonna, you know, get that. Like I'm not going to fulfill my threats and everything else and see things through. So, so yeah, I think that I would work out because I had to stay in shape, obviously, for this. We wanted to make sure that this was still as scandalous as it is. We still wanted to make sure
mm,
it was sexy and romantic, and so that the audience is rooting for what they shouldn't be rooting for, like we said. So I'd hit the gym, I'd shake it off. I'd try and watch something for 15 minutes light, especially before bed. Then I'd wake up and do it all over again. And it was, you know, it takes its toll after a while.
that's why the real wife and kids bring you back to
Yes.
reality
And
and
they were very
remind you
grateful that I
you're
was doing
Ryan.
this. That's right. And they were grateful I was doing this on location. So I go back to hotel room and they don't have to deal with me. So that was the good news.
What do you think it is about Amish Affair that's just going to make it a fast fan favorite lifetime film? Certainly, it's got every aspect to a typical favorite lifetime movie. It's got the intensity, the murder, the mystery, the love affair, all those good things we tend to appreciate from a great lifetime movie. Though maybe it's all of those things that you think is makes it one of
Yeah.
the top ones.
Well, I just know that we approached, and Robin really did a great job of grounding us and approached every scene as how would we want to see this, and what happens? What's the change that happens in this scene to drive the story forward? Because if you're just in the scene to talk about something, right, or to give exposition, not there's not a lot that moves forward, all the time. And you want to see the changes build in people. You want to see the romance bud. You want to see one person pulling back while the other's chasing them. And then, oh, how far is that going to go? And then you also want to see how far they'll take it and to what extreme and what could they possibly think the outcome would be, right? So,
Hmm.
how could they get away with something, or how can they figure out who done it. There's so many of those elements that each scene I think will have you captivated, and the audience going on that roller coaster ride that you just go, oh, okay, I didn't see that. I mean, I was so focused on this, I didn't see that coming. And I wanted the audience to really gravitate towards Aaron in a way that they're mad at themselves, um,
Hmm.
almost when they're rooting for the affair, because I wanted him to be a grounded, likable guy, in the very beginning, a family man that you go, oh, there's no way that this movie's going to unfold the way the preview, the trailer showed us it would. And that's the fun of it for me.
What's next for you? Have you been busy working on any projects, either in front of the screen or behind the screen?
Yeah, I'm developing a World War II submarine show. Um, and more to come on that because we just finished negotiating the deal and I'm very excited about that. So and then there's a lot being developed right now. But as far as in front of the screen, we're into that time of all the everything's ramping back up. And so like I said, I was so grateful to get to do this and then have a very Vermont Christmas coming out July 20th on Hallmark. um but so two very different things. Let's get the scandal done around the 4th of July, right? Right afterwards.
Right.
And as we move into the end of July, we'll soften things up a little bit. Um, but yeah, I, as I said, I really like to be involved in the creative process from the ground up. So I've got about 5 different projects that are all in the
Wow.
hopper. So you don't really talk about them too much about
True.
because
Yeah.
it's just not good luck. I had to knock on wood, shake the camera.
Speaking of that, are you have any interest in stepping behind the camera yourself,
I definitely
directing
have an
something?
interest, but I think writing is more my focal point, writing and show running. And then if I were to step behind the camera, I think I'd want to do it for a feature. I'd want to tell just a whole story in, 2 hours or less. And that's what interests me. Um, but I'd much rather be a showrunner for an ongoing series. And that I think will be, my journey at the end of the day.
All right. I'm manifesting it, speaking it into existence for you. Hopefully it comes here shortly. I love having you in front of the camera, but certainly you do some great EP working and exceptional work behind the screen as well. What would you like to say to people who are fans and supporters of the work you do?
Oh man, I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for showing up, and thanks. I hope that we deliver on the expectations. And what a great career so far for being able to do so many different Lifetime movies
Yes.
and have the audience come out and embrace me the way they have. It's overwhelming if I were to really think about it for too long. But we'll save those tears for the Amish sequel.
Equal, that's right.